Judging from the fact that you are watching this particular gameplay, I take it you clicked on my first video covering E3, basically covering Microsoft press conference and Nintendo's quote-unquote press conference. So with that said, let's get straight into it. Right off the get-go, before Microsoft press conference even got started, they announced a new Kinect Sports Rivals. So for those of you who are all up on those type of games, you know, they got bowling, tennis, climbing, rake racing, soccer, target shooting. I'm assuming that's bow and arrow, maybe guns or sniper rifles, or whatever. And that's pretty much it. So you know, if you like those type of games, you know, you should love that one. Now let's get to the nitty gritty, the Microsoft press conference. So obviously they focus on games, 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 which is what we was asking for ever since the reveal of the Xbox One. So the first game they showed was Metal Gear Solid 5, and that game looked sick. The thing that got me was they got African kids with guns as a pack. And that kind of looked intimidating right there. And then, of course, they talked about the Xbox 360. First of all, they came out with a new look similar to the Xbox One, which is out now. Matter of fact, it was out when the press conference was live, so that's pretty cool. Xbox Live will roll over to the Xbox One, so you could get. So if you have Xbox Live already, like in my case, I had Xbox Live. It's gonna be good for a whole year. I can roll it over to the Xbox One, so that's pretty cool. July 1st, Gold members will receive 2 free games downloads per month to keep. So that's pretty cool as well. And then they coming out with a World of Tanks game, which is normally a PC game, but that would be on the Xbox 360. Then there's another game called Max, The Curse of Brotherhood, and Dark Souls 2. That's all on the 360. Now for the Xbox One, which will be 60 frames per second, which was constantly mentioned throughout the majority of these games. The first game they announced was Rise, Son of Rome. And that game looked pretty decent, but, you know, it's not enough to capture the mass video game audience, you know. Then the next one was Killer Instinct. And I heard rumors about this. I'm like, they did not come out with another they did not bring back Killer Instinct. Even though there were talks of them doing that, but, you know, it wasn't official talks or anything. It was just like rumors started up by video game heads or whatever. But nope, Killer Instinct is back. But the thing about Killer Instinct is, as much as, you know, they got Jago, or how you say his name, they got Saberwolf, and they got Glaciers in there, and they got the, you know, the Ultras and the killer combos and stuff like that. Have anybody noticed, why did it take for Modern War Negro to point out the fact that this game looks like Street Fighter 4? Like, did that just completely blown by people's minds until he pointed that out when he did his E3 coverage? Like, really? When I first saw it, I'm like, is this Street Fighter 4? Like, even look at Jago's moveset. He basically doing a one-handed Hadouken and the Dragon Punch. And I'm like, man, this is basically Street Fighter 4. And then I found out that the original developers of the Killer Instinct franchise didn't make this one. They're not responsible for this one. But despite that, because of the fact I am a big Street Fighter fan, I love Street Fighter. I'm like, okay, this is still pretty cool. This is still pretty sick. And then I found out how to get this game. First of all, it's free to play, but you only get one character, Jago. Everybody else, you have to pay to get. Now, how much? We don't know yet. So I'm thinking to myself, fail. Fail, fail, fail. More of that in the upcoming video. The next video that came out with was Sunset Overdrive. And the deal with this one was kind of big because the makers of Ratchet & Clank, Resistance, and Spyro made this one. And this one is Xbox exclusive. And notice that the 3 games I mentioned, they are all Sony exclusives. Yet they switch over to Xbox. Now, I'm not saying they abandoned the PS3 to do this or anything like that. But it's interesting that the makers of Ratchet & Clank, Resistance, and Spyro making a game for the Xbox One, and it's exclusive for the Xbox One. So I found that pretty interesting. Forza 5 was the next game, and that mug looks sick. It looks really sweet. They talk about how it's no more AI. The computer is based off of us players and how we play. And they got a new technology where the game can play as you while you're at work or at school against other players online. So that's pretty cool. Then they talk about Minecraft being on the Xbox One. They mentioned Chrono Break again. They mentioned D4, and that's like, And then they mentioned Project Spark, where basically it's like you create your own video game and your own adventure, and that looked pretty sick. Then they talk more about Xbox Live. Automatically record, then edit, then finally upload. They got a partnership with Twitch, so you can be live streaming from your Xbox One. There's no more Microsoft points. It's all real money, so that's pretty cool. A lot of people love that. and Xbox Live Gold sharing. So you can share your Xbox Live with other people only in your household though. So if you have more than one Xbox One, or you have an Xbox One and an Xbox 360, both systems will get Xbox Live or whatever. Now going back to the games, they announced Crimson Dragon, and Microsoft was messing up here because when they presented Crimson Dragon, there was no sound, so we don't know what this gameplay sounds like at all. Then comes Dead Rising 3, which looks nice. You know, it looks pretty cool. So, Dead Rising fans, you may love this one. It's not that silly Dead Rising that you're used to. It's more of a serious tone, zombie type of game. Then they come out with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Then, obviously, Battlefield 4. And it looks straight. It looks a little cool, but they messed up here too because it took them a while for the actual gameplay to start, which was, again, single player. And then came Below, which was an adventure game. And then Black Tusk Studios, they worked on the game for the Xbox One. And then one of the big announcements, Halo 5 is coming to the Xbox One. And then we finally got a look of Titanfall. The same cats who made Call of Duty 4 is making Titanfall. And they gave us a look through co-op multiplayer, and it looks pretty good. So that's all that was covered at Microsoft's press conference. So, you know, it's looked pretty okay. You know, they doing their thing. And the system, they coming out in November, and it's $500 just for the system by itself. Now they already got packages and deals alongside with the system, like the Madden package and the EA package, just to name a few. Now, a day later, Nintendo did their Nintendo Direct thing or whatever. So they announced their games. And that's basically what they focus on, games. So they announced Pokemon X and Y. We already know about that one. They announced Super Mario 3D World, which looks really sick. And they got Mario in a cat suit. Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toadstool, and Toad. You can play as all four of them, and they can all rock the cat suit amongst other things. And it looks sick. Mario Kart 8 looks sick. Wii Party U. Okay. And then they announced the remake of Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker in HD. And then a new Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It looks pretty cool. Dixie Kong is back in the game, so you can play as her in this one as well as Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. Bayonetta 2, we all knew about this one, how this one's Wii U exclusive. That looked nice as well. The Wonderful 101, they announced that one. Monolith Soft, they announced that one. That looks sweet, because it's got a little Final Fantasy in it. So that one you should check out. One. Then they announced a Super Smash Bros. With two new characters, Villager from, I guess, Village Town or wherever that game is, and Mega Man, even though he looked small, but it's still pretty cool. And that's also for the 3DS. And they got a lot of third-party games, and you know, from Batman Origins, and they got a 3DS version, Assassin's Creed 4, Deus Ex, Disney Infinity, Just Dance 2014, Rayman Legends, Scribblenauts Unmasked, DC Comic Adventures, and that one's also for the 3DS. That one looked interesting. Disney Planes, Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the 3DS only, Skylanders Swap Force for the 3DS and the Wii U, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Sonic Lost Worlds, which is also on the 3DS, and Watch Dogs. And then they announced their indie games where you could get from their eShop. But there's three that caught my attention. DuckTales Remastered, Oddworld New and Tasty, and the third one, which is the best one of them all, Spin the Bottle Bumpy Party. Yes, Nintendo is getting freaky with their bad selves here. And when they showed the gameplay of this one, I was cracking up rolling on this one because they had this giant hand stretched out like he was Dawn Seam or something, reaching into a hat and pulled out a little tag. And once they opened the tag, the word that was on the tag was drill. So I'm like, oh snap, if I spin the bottle and I grab this tag that says drill out the hat, does that mean I take a chick up in the closet and I drill her? Yeah, that game gonna be sick. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as Nintendo and what all they announced. And I'm not gonna criticize Nintendo nor Microsoft yet. That's gonna be for a later video. Just let y'all know what was out there. Again, if you want to see gameplay of these games or you want to see the actual conferences of both of these companies, the link to all of that is in the description box below. If you want to go back to the table of contents, click the link on the top left corner or the top right corner. It's somewhere up top somewhere. And I will see y'all in a couple of minutes. Hopefully.